So, Scott, like, this is a whole lot of people with superpowers. Were you doing a superpower show? Is that what you set out to do when we first sat down?
No, I think the best approach for a show like this is not to see these people as superheroes, but as people or Inhumans who happen to have a superpower. And as people watch the show, they will see that these superpowers are not always necessarily an asset, and sometimes can actually be a crutch that they've depended on their whole lives to be able to solve their problems. And in the story that we've created, those superpowers are not necessarily always that helpful.
You know, it's one of the things that I got so caught up in was this idea that the people that lived in Adelan were very loyal to Bolt, but in some ways were not necessarily happy in that world. And A1, that's something as Maximus you got a chance to sort of take advantage of, I think, is a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it was really cool after the discussions with you and Scott to try and make something slightly different with Maximus and sort of try to show the side of him that he's trying to genuinely change the world and trying to help out the people who he believes are living in terrible conditions in the caste system, which they had no choice over. So he believes that he should free them. And so that's where you get the conflict between the brothers. And he believes that his brother's not doing anything, so he needs to do something himself. And so that's where you kind of find Maximus in this one. So as you were saying earlier, he's kind of maybe perhaps more of an antagonist than a villain. But yeah, it's just two opposing ideas. There are no clear sort of villains in Marvel, I think, because you have such interesting shades for every character. And the idea was that he's just a passionate politician who wants to change things for the better, for the people, and maybe for himself.
Now, Ellen, you play the Silver Surfer in this, so that's an unusual role for you. Did you have to learn to surf while we were out there?
Yeah, I picked up really quickly though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I found I'm just a natural talent.
No, we didn't. Maybe you're not playing the Silver Surfer. We'll get back to you. So, Sonia, as I told everybody, you got to kick ass. Tell me about what was that like? Were you having fun?
Yeah, it was a blast. Mike and I got to do some great stunts and stunt training and worked with some amazing stunt choreographers and fight choreographers. And I had to take some serious boxing lessons and learn how to punch properly. And yeah, I remember in my audition, you guys asked me, "Are you athletic?" And I'm like, yes I am. But this role required much more than I anticipated. But it was a lot of fun. And, fighting in the jungle with full body of covered in leather, that takes a lot of energy, and it was hard, but worth it. So I hope you guys enjoy our fun action scenes out there in the jungle.
And Mike, I don't think they know, you actually can kick ass. I mean, you play Triton, and so you got a lot of fun doing that, but can you just tell them some of the titles that you hold that you've won or done? Or
I've been doing Taekwondo since I was 12. I'm a 5-time world champion. I have my own school, so being able to do some action in the show and actually do it legitimately is something that I'm very proud of. And this team, like Sonia just mentioned, she kicks some serious butt, and everybody, whether they're trained like me or not, you guys are going to be really happy with the action. So.
Now, Isabel, you got to play really the princess in the story, and a lot of your scenes were by yourself, but they weren't by yourself because you were with a 2,000-pound bulldog.
Yes.
So tell us what that was like when we told you that most of your scenes were with a CGI character that we were going to put in the show.
Yeah, it was very interesting because a lot of the time I'm just acting to the air. So I had to make up a great relationship with Lockjaw. But if you watched me from the outside on the day, you're like, what is this girl doing? She's crazy. But the funniest part is in my audition, at the end of my audition, I got asked to you know, pretend that there was a huge giant head in front of me. And at this point, I didn't know that Crystal was gonna, you know, talk to Lockjaw. So in my audition, I just started to like go crazy and like play with this invisible creature that I had no idea what it was. And then when I got the role, I was like, oh my gosh, I get why I was running around in the room, like acting to the air. And that was a lot of what I did throughout the show. And it was really fun. And every day it was different, and remembering where to look, when to look, and just feeling the relationship with him. It was good. I liked it.
You already were green and had a fin on top of your head and gills on the side of your throat, but you still insisted on makeup. So how many hours were you in that, and what was that like? And tell these folks a little bit about playing Triton.
So I would have 3 to 5 hours in the chair every morning. And, you know, Mike Smithson and the special effects makeup team, they are, number one, they're really cool guys. So it was really a fast process, and, you know, it was time to just kind of zone in for what was going to go on that day. And we'd blast some music, and it was a lot of fun. So it's definitely not comfortable. It's something you have to get used to. And we had to do a live cast. So a couple weeks before the shoot, they covered me in goop. And it was a crazy experience, but yeah. Some things that my martial arts training, the Zen and the focus, helped me get through. So it's a lot of fun, and sometimes I had to look in the mirror and say like, oh, I would surprise myself, and then I'd get done with the day and take off my makeup, and everybody would be like, who are you?
I totally forgot what you looked like.
I had no idea who you were when I first saw you on set.
Ellen, we'll just tell him.
You think now?
Yeah, we'll tell him.
Are you sure, Jeff?
Yeah, we are. Look, part of, and it's been fun, but obviously the Silver Surfer joke went over so well, I'm going to keep doing them. So I thought we'd jump ahead. This is not a big secret, guys. We just wanted to let folks know the beauty of the show is that the people that are the fish out of water are the heroes of our show. And so they come to Earth, they're not really prepared, they are being hunted, and they make a friend. And they make a friend in a character named Louise, who is an original character that is from Earth, but has some special knowledge. And Ellen, what was it like being, I think, literally the only person in the cast that didn't have powers?
Well, thanks, Jeff, for rubbing that in. We've talked about that, okay? No, it was great. I mean, for my character, I feel like there was a sort of levity that was there in the material and in the script that I really enjoyed doing, and so that sort of made up for not getting to have superpowers, which I am determined to maybe one day get. But, you know, season 1.
Yes, we've decided we're going to do a half-hour sitcom called Geez Louise, that just has Ellen in it, talking to no one.
To myself.
that should go 100 episodes for sure. Anson, when you and I first started talking about playing this role, as I teased you earlier on, you know, we told you that there was not going to be any dialogue, and oddly enough, that was what intrigued you the most. Can you talk a little bit about how you came to the role, and then ultimately the language that you use that you only share with Medusa?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine ever coming across this acting challenge again, and so I really wanted to leap at it. And Jeff, being the very smart man he is, knew what I would ask for, and he immediately offered to find me help within the linguistics and signing community. And I wanted to take it very seriously and not just at face value. So I knew that I was going to begin by learning how sign systems work. I started watching not just signers, but orchestra conductors. And I started building a lexicon. But I think what helped me the most is having a collaborator who took it as seriously as I did and asked for me to send her videos of my homework. So I was like, oh, I guess I need to do my homework. And I think that Serinda and I worked very well in that capacity. I couldn't have done it without her, definitely.
Now, Serinda, you had the other half, which we don't exactly see in that scene, but when Bolt speaks to the rest of them, you are the one who has to translate for everyone else. So what was it like? I mean, as those of us who saw the scripts, you saw what he was saying, but you didn't know the physical manifestation of how that was going to happen.
No, it was basically a scene where I would look at the scenes and I go, there's his part and there's my part, and then I'd realize I had to say both parts. And so it was really interesting because the duality of that, because normally you're used to playing off somebody and somebody's emotions, and that's, again, I think we worked so well together because there was so much emotion that I could see from you, that I could get, that it was easy on my side, but then I have to also be able to say it so that other people can understand it. So it was much easier when, in like the scene you just saw, when I'm speaking for him to everyone else, because that's how it goes. But if it's like a more intimate scene between the two of us, I'm just talking to myself. That's it. And so it was a challenge, but it was an amazing challenge to learn. And yeah, he would send me the videos and we would sync them. So it's not just, as I've said before, it's not him just doing like hand puppets and I'm talking. We have it synced. So if we went off the sync, we would stop the scene. So I know the words. And if you pay attention throughout the whole show, you'll start to recognize words and moments. And so when he speaks, I'll be looking at it through my periphery, and there's a really interesting relationship that you guys might catch, because I don't always say what he signs word for word. That's one of the best things about Medusa. She's got a strong opinion. And so you'll see us kind of having this interesting grind as we communicate, and the relationship that's there. It's obviously husband and wife, king and queen, and also I play as interpreter. So it was such a fun role to try to figure out, but I couldn't have obviously done it without you either. It was, our videos were amazing.
And Hanson, we obviously were very sensitive to the deaf community and not in any way saying that we were doing signing. This was a language which Bolt created so that he could communicate specifically with Medusa.
Yeah, I actually even checked my signs against ASL more often than not to make sure that nothing was overlapping. But I worked with an ASL consultant to learn sort of what were the some of the underlying rules of ASL that make it more efficient, and that helped a lot.
Click left for part 1 of Marvel's Inhumans panel, or click right for Marvel's Inhumans panel part 3.